Hello and welcome back to another session of Hearts of Wulin. Tonight we're playing the second session of our what was going to be a 5-part but now is a 4-part game of Hearts of Wulin, which is Monkey in the Scarlet Court. This game is set around the courtly struggles that you see in films such as The Curse of the Golden Flower and The Banquet, and those other Wulin films that come out of that. And it's all about the machinations and betrayals and romances between the people in court and the people in power. We're playing on the Gauntlet, and I'm joined by some of the wonderful Gauntleteers, some of which have played with me before, some of which this is only my second time playing with them. But if the last session's anything to go by, it's going to be great. So we are playing with the Gauntlet safety tools. So we will be playing with the X card. This is also an open table, so if anything comes up, please at any point, please feel free. You don't need to stay here if something makes you that uncomfortable. The X card is primarily there to stop it getting that far, though. So if we come across any problematic material, anything you're not comfortable with, you don't need to explain why you're uncomfortable with it. Just either say, I'd like to X card that, or make an X on the video or in the chat. We stop the scene, draw it back. I may ask for a little bit of guidance about what the problematic material is. Then we'll reframe the scene and go forward. So I'm going to go to each of the characters I have in turn here. I'm going to go the opposite order than I normally do. I'm going to go from right to left. I'm going to ask you to introduce your characters a bit and just give us a little bit of the background there. So Sabine, can you tell me about your character, please?
I love telling you about my character. I'm playing Princess Falling Blaze. She is a younger daughter of the Emperor. She does not think she stands to inherit anything at all because she has viewed herself as minor and unimportant. She is a devoted child. That's her role. And she has the entanglements that she is betrothed to Master Bao Devan, and that betrothal will bring peace, but her heart yearns for General Sheng Heng, who is Ludo's character. And also she suspects that Mistress Secret Son, which is Alun's character, caused the death of somebody important to her. That's her mother, who was poisoned. And Perfect Silk Blossom has sworn to help me find the truth. Perfect Silk Blossom is an NPC. Is that
Brilliant.
what we were looking for?
That's excellent. Thank you very much.
Cool.
Now, Paul, can you tell me a bit about your character, please?
Sure. My character is Admiral Lee Ho Quinn, an old salty sea dog, and he plays the role of the trickster. His entanglements are his romantic partner, Perfect Silk Blossom of the Butterfly Fans, has possibly portrayed me to Chen Ling of the Gang of Eight. My spies have told me that, but I've chosen not to believe them. And I suspect that my friend Princess Falling Blaze is secretly the heir to the throne, and I am sworn to protect them from Chen Ling of the Gang of Eight, who seeks to influence them.
Brilliant. Thank you very much. Now, Ludo, can you tell us a little bit about your character, please?
So I'm playing General Sheng Heng. He is the poster boy to the supposed meritocracy of the Empire, because he is the one that they put forward as the peasant that made all the way up to general, and he hides behind bolster and heavy drinking and partying and a flirtatious nature, the costs of the wars and rebellions have taken on him. And he is currently entangled with Reed Sundering Princess, another of the scions of the Emperor, that is a renowned and let's say, cruel general that does not put anything behind her reach and ambitions. And because he had the relationship with Sabine's character, Princess Failing Blaze, Reed Sundering Princess has pressured Zheng Gang so that he stops their relationship, so that he does not support Failing Blaze within the court or in case of a succession crisis. Now, there is a chain link that suspects that I hold the missing crow of Jean and has sent Admiral Leo Kin to take it from me.
Sorry, I was muted. I didn't realize. Thank you very much, Ludo. Brilliant. Sets up the game well. And Alan, can you tell us a bit about your character, please?
Yes, if all that wasn't complicated enough. I'm playing Mistress Secret Sun, who is the head of the Watchful Peacocks, the Emperor's secret police. I won that position because I kind of took credit for a victory during the recent war, which was actually down to the fact that a barbarian leader called Iron-Faced Bison was actually the victor, in as much as he delayed the arrival of his hordes long enough for the Emperor's forces to win. That in turn is complicated because I believe that Admiral Lee Ho Quinn, Paul's character, who I think of as a rival, has threatened to tell my lover, the Reed Sundering Princess, who is the supposed heir to the throne, likely heir to the throne, about that slightly dodgy behavior, taking credit. In fact, there may be more to that betrayal than even that. And so this is about Mistress Secret Sun maintaining a grip on her power and influencing the succession in a way that would suit her, and it seems to me her lover, Reed Sundering Princess.
Excellent. Thank you very much. So those are our characters for tonight's game. Now, at the start of it, one of the fundamental parts of Hearts of Wulin are the three-way relationships that characters have, the entanglements. Now, those aren't set in stone. Those can change over time. At the start of every session, a character gets a chance to change those entanglements. So I'm going to go in the same order that I went previously. And I'm going to ask, Sabine, do you have any entanglements you'd like to change?
No, I like my entanglements for the moment just fine.
Brilliant. Could you mark one of your entanglements in bold? There's the one that...
I have marked it with the blue color because I like the bold face for the names of the other characters. I hope you don't mind.
Nope, that's fine. And Paul, are there any entanglements you would like to change?
No, I'll keep mine exactly as they are.
Brilliant. Ludo, any entanglements you'd like to change?
No, I think as they are still something that I want to explore before changing anything else, so I'm keeping them.
Brilliant. And Alan, are there any of the Mistress Secret Sun's entanglements you would like to change?
No, like the others, I think that these ones need to run for a bit longer yet.
Brilliant. Now, with that said, as I was saying, I'd like everyone to mark at least one of mark one of their entanglements as the primary entanglement they would like to play towards tonight. Now, one of the ways that you gain XP in Hearts of Wulin is you gain 1 XP if playing towards your low-level entanglement. But if your high-level entanglement causes complications and problems, you gain 3 XP for it at the end of the session. So this is one of the primary ways that you get XP to increase your skills and stats and expand your character. So, with that said, at the end of the last session, our young princess Princess Fallinblaze went to her mother, her stepmother, the Empress Chenlin, and made a request of her. Princess Fallinblaze was due to marry soon at the end of the New Year season, as a celebration for the changing of the old season and the old new year to the new. But she asked for some time that reluctantly her stepmother has given her. Princess Fallinblaze is being sent to the South Islands, there to serve as governor for the troublesome provinces for 6 months before returning for her wedding. It's already been announced that she will have a naval attaché sent with her in the form of the Admiral, Admiral Lee Ho Quinn,
Yep.
Jin. But before she leaves the capital, her stepmother has declared a grand party, a banquet, dancing, celebrations to honor her as she takes up her new position. So with that in mind, with the party coming up, are there any scenes anyone would like to do? Anything that anyone would like to put forward?
I don't think I've had a scene with my supposed lover, Reed Sundering Princess, yet.
Okay.
And I would quite like, we started a flashback last time, about what actually happened when Red Orchid, the rebel queen, was taken. I'd quite like to have a chance at that one.
Okay. So which order would you like to do those in?
I think that probably the flashback should be later.
Okay.
Because if we don't have time for it, it can easily fit in some later session.
Okay, so while the preparations for the parties is going on, the armies and the navies and all the military personnel of the Empire are summoned in haste to the offices of the Imperial Generals. This is a grand hall of strategy. There are maps all over the walls. There are bean counters and scribes taking down the deployment of troops and sorting through information, going through lists of supplies and material, and in the center of the floor is a huge map of the Empire with little figures about 2 foot tall to mark the individual armies and the men they represent. All the high-ranking Imperial officers are called in, and no one seems to know why. The commander-in-chief of the armies, the Reed Sundering Princess, has called everyone forward, and all the generals sit round and chat amongst themselves, and all of them look nervous. So, in this scene, we will have Ludo and Paul. I think you're already sat in the room, but whereabouts do you sit? The Reed Sundering's Princess is on a little dais right at the end of the table, right at the head of where the Empire, the map of the Empire that plays out in front of you. How close to that are you sitting?
I would say I'm quite far away because of my humble birth. So I'm in a bit of a corner of the large map with the more unruly generals that have a bit of a reputation, that are kind of her hunting hounds, let's say.
Excellent. And the Admiral, where does he sit?
The Admiral, being well dressed and quite old in years will be probably a bit further up the table on the opposite side to the land army, representing the naval commitment. So yeah, a bit further up.
Excellent. Okay. So the generals talk amongst themselves, and you can see there's an absence of several of them right at the top, right where the Sundering Princess would sit. In fact, several of her closest companions and her sworn brothers and sisters don't appear to be here. This itself is causing a little bit of worry amongst the other military officers. One of them, a general who's quite rotund and obviously hasn't seen the field in many years, leans forward. Does anyone know what this is about?
I have no idea what this is about, but the lack of the full Privy Council does worry me.
The Red Reeds do seem to be absent. Has anyone seen them recently? There's a murmur goes around the table, and no, they've not been seen for several weeks. This doesn't bode well. We haven't recovered from the last war yet. For her trusted generals not to be here, something is afoot.
Most definitely.
And you hear a murmur from the lower end of the table, right down from near where you're sitting at, General, saying, and one of the lower ranking colonels says, "Well, she has always wanted war. She is eager for it."
Well, the Empire never failed to deliver war. All she needs to do is wait.
Waiting isn't our beloved Crown Princess's strong suit. And there's a hush go up from the table, and he looks round. What? You all know it to be true. She's...
Yeah, of course. And Zheng Heng fills a cup of wine and shows in front of the colonel. Just drink and calm down. I'm sure everything will be made clear.
I'm sure. It'll be fine. After all, she may lead the armies, but her orders come from the Empress. And there's another murmur goes round the table, as if this wasn't the right thing to say.
I'm sorry. And Zheng Heng takes away the cap. I shall not be obliging you because clearly you had too much to drink.
He looks up and you can see the realization in his eyes. Yes, I think that's right. And he puts the cup down and he sits back and he eyes the doors. His eyes go up briefly to the ceiling and to the rafters, almost as if he's looking for the place where the spies are watching on them.
I am curious where the spies are.
Well, I was about to ask you, where are you?
I think that probably, as with most important meetings, my eye is staring out through a carving in the wall. That seems to be my modus operandi. And so I'm observing this and wondering where Reed Sundering Princess is. In fact, I may go and look.
Okay. You turn and where do you go and look for her?
I think I'd start with her chambers.
Okay. You go to her personal chambers, and as you grow near, you can see that there are men in armor standing outside. Normally there'd only be 2 or so guards. There's at least 6 of them here now. And
Still go on.
And their weapons don't appear to be ceremonial.
Who do they belong to? I would have thought that, are they uniformed as palace guards, emperor's guards? Does she have a guard of her own?
No, these were the colours of the Red Reeds.
You'll need to remind me who the Red Reeds are.
The Red Reeds are the army that she commands. You muted, Alan.
Yeah, sorry, the pennies dropped. So I will go up to them and demand entry. Well, not demand, I'll simply expect entry.
They turn to look at you. Yes? How may we help you?
I seek the Reed Sundering Princess.
Many people seek the Reed Sundering Princess.
Do you know who I am, soldier?
I know who I'm more afraid of.
You have no reason to fear the Reed Sundering Princess. If you let me in, she will be expecting me.
One of the soldiers goes up to the door and it opens slightly and he whispers into it. And there's a snap of a fan from inside. And the doors are flung open. And the princess is there. She's a huge woman for the time and place. She has bulking muscles. She's very much a general that leads from the saddle. And it's quite evident she is a mighty warrior.
Amazonian.
Yes. And she's in her armor.
Lady, I understood that there was a meeting with your commanders.
Yes. She smiles.
Do you wish me to dismiss them?
No. Come in. We have much we need to talk about.
Apparently.
She closes the door behind. She closes the door herself behind you. What have you heard from up north?
I'm not aware of having heard anything specific from up north. Am I right in thinking that's where iron-faced bison's barbarian tribes are?
That's right, yes.
Paul, I think you're not muted. You keep popping up. Oh, you are muted. So, do I know whether iron-faced bison has made a move? If I don't, someone's going to be very angry.
Can you make a study roll, please?
Yes. So, study, roll. Okay, let's see.
Which chi are you using for
yeah,
that?
that's what I'm wondering. I think probably, sadly, it's water, awareness, wisdom, and flexibility, which is 0.
Okay. So let's see how you do.
I get 6
Okay.
with a 0, so it's 6 altogether.
Okay, so you have heard nothing from him recently.
But have I heard nothing from my... Presumably we have spies on the border monitoring them. And we've heard nothing from them either.
You've heard nothing from them either.
I'm getting increasingly embarrassed and will beat a hasty retreat, I think. Lady, I must seek more information on this. Clearly, I have not been fully briefed.
Don't go just yet. I wish you by my side when I go to speak to the generals.
Your servant as always, madam.
Keep your eyes out. I do not trust the entire general staff.
The entire general staff?
Indeed. I value loyalty. Value it above many other things.
As do we all, my love.
And there are many there that I suspect loyalty lies with another rather than their commander.
Well, then let us go and see them.
Indeed. And she throws open the door, and her guards make way, and she walks, and basically the guards fall in behind her. And when she comes to the room where all the generals are gathered, and she throws open the doors, it is war! Finally! Finally, we will take the field and crush these barbarians. She throws her hands over to several of these scribes and points to the wall on the north of the map. Deploy the troops as I have shown you. And she comes in and brings in several. They bring out several models of men and women on horseback, and start to gather them over the entire length of the wall to the north of it. I've received word through our network to the north that the barbarians gather. They seek to test our will, test our might, test our divine right to rule. Show them. And they start taking up all these tribes that are gathered out. And you can see that each of the horses, there's about 20 or 30 of them, are marked with the name of the smaller clans. And they start congregating them all in a single place, about 100 miles north of the wall. You can see there's a murmur goes up amongst the generals, and a voice goes up. Where did these reports come from? And everyone turns to look at a young colonel, and she glares. And they have come from my spies beyond the wall. They have come through trusted hands. We get to ride once again. And the colonel holds up his hands. May we see these reports so we can study their authenticity? There is no need. They come from trusted sources. But my princess, and she smashes her hand into the table. I say the sources are to be trusted. Do you doubt me? And he flinches. No, my princess. If it is as you say, then war it must be. And you can see that he's very worried about this. Alan, can you make another study roll, please?
Yes. Is this to make a concrete decision as to whether she is in fact a paranoid madwoman? So I failed, didn't I? So I cannot use water.
That's right. You should mark your water.
I should mark water, and I'll mark experience in a bit. I think this is about control, calculation, and reflection. This is looking around the room, working out what is going on here. So that's +2 with metal. So 9. So on a 9, on 7 to 9, gain 1. Spend this 1 to 1 for the following. Ask a question about the situation or place, escape routes, hidden details, threats, and danger. Ask a question about a person, motivation, desire, intentions, means of manipulation. I think this is a question about her. Has she cracked? Is this her normal behavior? And if so, why is she my lover? Because she's nuts.
She is normally enthusiastic about this. She is vicious in how she treats her enemy. But she always has a plan. She doesn't just lash out blindly.
Okay, so this is not abnormal behavior in my view.
No, it isn't.
Okay, that's a concern. Okay. Wish I'd changed that entanglement now, but never mind.
Sorry, we did say at the start that she was vicious and a bit brutish, so...
Yeah, no, that's fair enough. It's just this capacity to thrust us into war on the basis of a whisper that worries me, but there we go.
General Zhang Hen, to the front.
So Zhang Han leans over the battle plans, stretching like a lazy cat. So what would I do to have a tactical assessment of her plans?
That would be a study roll.
Okay.
Can you tell me which chi you're rolling, please?
For this situation, I think it's water. It's more fitting.
Okay.
$11.
Okay.
So first thing first, I want to establish a fact about this situation by
Okay.
revealing a detail. There is this smirk in Zhang Heng's face as he sees that none of the troops that she has signed north are Red Reed generals, and she's removing all the troops that could intercede in a coup from easy access to the capital.
By all means.
And now I want to ask, what is her motivation after establishing this?
She's sending the people she has less confidence with out of the capital and to the north and away from the seat of power.
And lastly, what is her scale?
Her scale is one above you.
Okay, so
there's no actual set scale in the game. All the characters are at equal
relative.
scales. Yes, she is a scale higher than you.
So he still stretched lazily and nods, steps back and bows, but has this knowing smug smile. Yes, my princess. How may I serve her majesty?
I wish you to take your legion north. After tonight's celebration, you will gather your men and reinforce the wall.
The smile immediately disappears because having read this situation, he knows that this means that she does not trust him. Of course, okay, actually, I think this is probably inner conflict because the good call will be he not provoke her, but maybe he provokes her.
Okay, can you roll in a conflict, please?
Yes, and I'm going to use metal because this is all about control.
What is your metal, out of curiosity?
0.
Excellent, that's the number I like.
10. Unfortunately,
Okay.
I got the boring result.
Okay, so how does the boring result actually interpret in this case? What do you do?
So she's saying this, and there will be confusion or anger, but he seems to be stuck between the two emotions. So he has an unusual stoic expression, which by itself is odd to anyone that knows Zhang Heng, but it seems a proper general. So hearing that, he says, yes, I will see that the preparations are in order. Even if issues pertaining my men and my legion are seen to be moving hastily towards the south. And he steps back, willing to touch on that hint later.
I'm sorry, I didn't quite catch that, Ludo. I'm afraid the line broke up.
So he says that he will accede the request, even if concerns pertaining his legions are moving hastily towards the south. So a reference to his dual loyalties being pushed in opposite directions.
Excellent. So the Reed Sundering Princess nods. I can appreciate that you have concerns to the south, but your duty is to the Empire. Your duty is to your general, me, and through me to the Emperor.
Yes, I was hoping that I could serve my general closely and more personal, but if she needs me in the north, on the north I'll be.
Very good. So, make ready. Prepare yourselves. Tonight will be a grand celebration, but tomorrow we go to war. For the Empire! You're muted, Alan?
Sorry, I didn't want to shout for the Empire to the screen.
So she basically does it again. For the Empire!
Louder.
For the Empire! And she basically does the rhetorical trick of doing it 3 times to get people going along. And you can see that the people sat at the far end of the table don't do so quite as viciously as the people at the top. And we'll end the scene there.
I assume I will take names in terms of those who are not very enthusiastic. Does that include General Zheng Hen and or Admiral Li Ho Quinn?
So, yes, Ludo, you can. So that's what you have to ask them. So, General, how do you respond to the shout for the Empire?
I'm cheering on, but I'm at the same time I see that I'm being observed by Secret Sun, and I plan to come drink with me with her to set up a later scene.
Okay. What does come drink with me do?
So basically, I can keep their attention or draw them to a private location, and then we could have a private scene.
That's fine. We'll set that up for later scene then. Okay. And Admiral. Sorry, terrible with names. Admiral Zin. How do you react to the shout?
Yeah, this is a land matter, so it's got really very little to do with the Navy. So I'm not particularly bothered with it which way it goes. It's not a naval matter. So yeah, as soon as the name, so it's for the Empire, not for the Emperor. Wasn't that the call?
Yes, it was for the Empire.
Yeah, no, I'm not going to show too much interest, really. Yep.
Okay.
Name in book.
Okay, so at this point, General Zheng, would you like to roll Tracing Shadows, please?
I already did. I got a 5. So Reed Sundering Princess learns both of my entanglements.
Okay. Brilliant. Okay, so with that scene out of the way, Sabine, is there any scene you'd like to set up?
I'm not sure about setting up, but I would like to have a scene either with Mistress Secret Sun or with my darling sister Princess. No, Reed Sundering Princess, to go a bit snippy about against each other, maybe.
Okay.
But I'm afraid that the snippiness isn't something that Falling Blaze would do by herself. She's not that person. So, but I would like to have a scene with the secret son. She could be snippy about her because she poisoned her mother.
Okay, so what?
So she thinks.
So how do you see that scene being set up? What's the setup for that?
I think maybe this is in preparation for the feast, where everybody is just milling around and coming together, and things are still being set up, and Falling Blaze is there because she's nervous, of course, about making a good impression, and she's not sure about what she's wearing, and she's trying to see if anybody makes stupid snide remarks about what she's wearing. She's just unsure, and she's just milling about and seeing what's what. Also, she's a bit excited. She's never been to the South.
Excellent. And is Master Baudelan there with you?
Hopefully not.
Excellent. So
I am. Oh yes, I am avoiding Master Baudelan. Yes, he is probably somewhere in the gardens waiting for me, and I'm here looking at all these celebration preparations just to get out of his way.
Okay, so what are the things that commonly happens in, you see in a lot of Chinese court wushu, Wulin and the like, is they have very elaborate headdresses, and their hair goes up and it takes hours to do properly, and the pins go in place, and they have these bejeweled hair pieces that go in. I think the Reed Sundering Princess actually calls on you while you're getting ready.
Cool. But I think that Falling Blaze is wearing, because this is a military appointment, right?
That's right, yes.
So she won't be wearing something too elaborate to commemorate the fact that this is a military thing, and she is going with a more practical, well, less like everything, every hair is tied into a crown, a more practical thing.
Excellent. So I think Reed Sundering Princess is walking towards your chambers, carrying a silk wrapped bundle, and walking beside her is Mr. Secret Son. You seem concerned with what happened earlier.
Is that the princess to me?
That's the princess to you, yes.
I'm simply surprised, honoured princess. Usually we discuss these things, and I was just surprised that this had come so much out of the blue.
I had to act quickly.
Why, my love?
My mother is moving her people.
Ah. To what end, do you think?
She is sending my sister away from us. To protect her, obviously. She must suspect that my father will soon pass.
And just so I'm clear, Chen Lin is that mother?
Is the stepmother.
Yes. Yeah. Bracket, wicked bracket.
Yes.
Okay. Right. Do you think that she's doing this to protect Falling Blaze, or to neutralize her?
I suspect that she protects her investment. As the Dowager Empress, she would have no authority. But with a compliant Empress on the throne, who rules would not change, merely the name.
I understand your reasoning, and it is, as always, impeccable. After you.
She walks up to your chambers and stops while there's a servant outside, and the servant announces her. What are your chambers like, Princess Falling Blaze?
They are appropriate for a minor princess, and nothing more. They are big enough, I guess, but not large. They're very airy. There's a lot of veils and stuff hanging about, and there's a large terrace, so she can go out into the gardens. She loves going out into the gardens, and there are a lot of decorations with stars and clouds and falling stars and things like that. It's pretty austere, considering that she is a princess and could have a lot of knickknacks. She doesn't. She has a little shrine to her mother, her deceased mother, and of course also a shrine to the emperor and the gods, whichever they might be. And right now she is already dressed for the party in some sort of mix between a military dress and a court dress. It's kind of like a court dress with the that somehow gives the idea of an armor.
Excellent. So as she comes through the door, do you stand for her or do you remain seated?
Oh no, she is the crown princess. Of course I will kneel to her, as is proper. She's the older sister.
She'll nod her head to you. Sister?
Sister?
I come bearing a gift on this most auspicious of days.
Thank you, elder sister. I feel very honored by this.
This is a great duty you will take up.
Yes.
I know you do not have any experience in the military, but you will be advised by wise people.
Yes, and I will listen to them.
They will be your blade. They will be the metal that cuts away your foes. But equally, she'll put the silk wrap parcel down in front of her. But equally, it is not seemly for a princess not to have a blade fit in her station. And she'll open up the actual silk wrapping. And there's a magnificent Jian there.
Ooh. And at that, I think Falling Blazes' eyes will get a little excited, glow, like, oh, a sword for me. Thank you, sister. That is a very, very lovely gift. And she will look at it and she will kind of measure it. I don't know if it's proper to draw the blade, but probably she will look at the steel. This is a most magnificent blade, sister. Thank you.
It is the Fallen Star sword. It was owned by a previous empress.
I feel very honored, and I will guard it. I've been trained in the ways of the sword, so.
Yes, you resemble your mother in many ways. She was very proficient with that blade.
She was, but it helped her not against poison. And I'm looking at Secret Sun.
And she undoes a little bit of her neckline, and you can see there's a scar there.
Mm-hmm.
She and I used to duel. She was always a consummate sword mistress.
I did not hear that, sister, but I hope that I am as accomplished as I will turn out to be as accomplished a sword mistress as she is. And I think it goes totally over Falling Blazes' head what she just said to her.
I hope you do not suffer as she did.
And now she's looking at Secret Sun, and she says, no, so do I, but maybe I have a better idea about who to trust and who not to trust.
Indeed.
The Lady Secret Sun does not meet her eye.
Interesting.
It would not be proper with two princesses for someone such as her to engage as if an equal, so she will sit demurely with her eyes downcast.
Oh, okay.
There is one here that I wish you to meet. Are you familiar with the sagacious Mistress Secret Son?
I've heard only great things of her. And I'm making the proper movement. I don't think it's proper to bow to her, but kind of an acknowledgement that she is an elder and sagacious, as you said.
She is the head of our father's secret police. She will be of much use to you during your governorship.
But
you must act on everything that she tells you.
She will go with me.
No, she has duties elsewhere. I will be sending her to the north to make sure our troops are properly deployed.
Troops? North? Is it
Yes.
true then that there is war in the north?
There will be war. The nomads, the barbarians have gathered. We cannot let them come as they did 2 years ago.
Of course not. Of course, no.
It is only by luck that we did not have to face them at that time.
True. True. I wish I could go with you and fight the barbarians in the north, but
you have duties elsewhere, and she'll
Yes.
she'll take the sword from your hand, put it back in its scabbard, and then come over and actually fit it into your belt.
I'll let her.
Take that. It will serve you well.
Thank you, sister. I hope I will in the future serve you well.
So, there is a party tonight.
Yes.
I must be going. Mistress Secret Son, is there anything you wish? I will leave you in the company of the princess. Are there any briefings you need to give her?
There are, lady. I will take this moment to discuss those matters which may have been concern to the princess when she is governor in the south.
Very good. I will see you later. Attend on me. And as she turns away, there's a slight smile to her lips as she walks out the door.
And Falling Blaze will look at Secret Son with some slight alarm in her face and put a bit of distance between the two of you. So maybe, no, she's not that subtle. So it's kind of the distance you would need to draw a sword and strike.
Princess, that is a remarkable blade. My advice would be to examine it carefully and test it. These old blades sometimes have a terrible propensity to shatter when used after a long time. So do please inspect it carefully.
Thank you for your advice, Mr. Secret Son. I will heed it and I will test it.
And now of the south. And I think that there will then be a briefing if Falling Blaze wants it.
Yes, of course. She is nothing if not dutiful. And I have a move for seeking advice from a senior. So if you're the head of the secret police, I don't have to trust you, but I will seek your advice on that. And then I think I will roll for it. Excellent. With what do I roll? I don't trust you at all. So I will roll with Earth because that's caution. And it's a 0, so you should like that. And for some reason, I now have these dice. Yeah. And I have a 6. Yay!
Okay, so can you mark that chi, please?
Yes. On a miss, they don't have time for you because of shocking events. Mark chi. Okay. Yes. Okay.
I wonder what shocking events have intervened.
Yeah, I don't know.
So I think you start to have the briefing, and there's a knock on the door.
Yes.
I'm sorry, Your Highness.
Yes.
The Empress calls you.
Oh, of course. If you will excuse me, Mr. Secret Son, maybe we can continue this at a future point.
Of course, lady.
And I'll wait until you've left my chambers.
Yes, okay. That's fine by me. I've got a couple of little jobs I need to do anyway.
Cool.
So can I just establish at this point, because you're being called away, you haven't had a chance to test that blade?
Yes, that's true. I haven't had a chance to test that blade. I wouldn't have done it. I would seek the advice of another senior for that anyway.
Excellent.
Thinking about the Admiral.
Okay. So in which case then, would you like to... you're called away to the Empress's chamber, and she gives you a brief rundown of what's going to be happening tonight. As you enter, you can see that she's sat with a bunch of women with silk fans in the shape of butterfly wings, and there's a most striking, beautiful one there. Perfect silk blossom sits at the Empress's feet but she sits like a confidant rather than in revelry or in a formal thing.
Good. I trust Perfect Falling Blossom because she is a friend of mine, and she's sworn to help me find out the truth about my mother's death. So I'm feeling relieved.
The Empress sees you and smiles and indicates a seat next to her. Come, my daughter, have a seat.
Of course, I will do that.
Have you drunk yet? Have you had anything to eat?
A light meal, Your Highness, in preparation for the feast, so I can enjoy that food.
Bring tea for my daughter. One of the servants nods and goes away. And remarkably, you're kind of left alone, all three of you.
Oh, wow.
As you look around, you don't see any servants. And the Empress leans over. Are you ready for your journey? Is it all in place?
Yes, everything is in place. I have prepared everything.
I see you carry your mother's sword.
Reed Thundering Princess gave it to me.
Indeed. That is a very generous gift.
Yes. She will make a very good Empress one day.
One day.
Far along. Hopefully.
All health to your father.
Yes. Health to my father.
Yes. That is why I've asked you to come here. The Emperor is asked to be at the... Well, I say asked. The Emperor wishes to be at the dance tonight.
I'm so honored.
I am worried about him.
Is he ill?
Deathly ill and weak.
No.
I've agreed with him that he will have a palanquin brought in with beaded curtains and silk, so he may watch what goes on beyond. But we cannot let his weakness be seen by the others.
Of course not.
Especially your sister.
Forgive me, Mother, I do not understand.
Your sister is about to lead our troops to the north.
Yes.
There cannot be any confusion amongst those troops about where the real authority lies.
Of course not.
The authority lies with the Emperor.
Of course.
With your father.
Yes, of course.
She may be the crown princess, but he sits on the throne. Even if he lays in a bed, his authority is not to be challenged.
Of course not.
Oh, that tea, excellent. And the servant comes in, puts down 2 cups, pours the cup for you, and puts the kettle down. Sorry, the teapot down next to you, and the Empress looks to her cup.
And I will pour her tea, of course. If that's proper, I'm not totally knowledgeable about the protocol here. But I will.
She will lift the cup up. I wish you all success on your journey south.
Thank you, stepmother. I wish you all the health, and my father all the health and success in the capital.
And at this point, I think there's a on the door. Yes? Your Majesty, your other guest has arrived?
Guests.
And Admiral, you've been summoned to the Empress.
Is this so we're talking Chen Lin here, are we?
Chen Lin, yes.
Yep. I will greet her. So Admiral Quinn will greet her in the standard fashion. Reasonably frosty though. Yeah, I'm a military man, so I won't put too much emotion in it.
It is good to see my husband's closest friend here. Would you care for tea?
I will thank her, but tell her that I've recently consumed some with on the general's meeting with Reed Sundren Princess, and in my growing years, I should avoid drinking too much.
And you can see Perfect Silk Blossom. Her fan comes up, and you can tell that she's giggling and smiling under it.
Yes.
Oh, come here, you.
Yes, I shall move closer then to Perfect Silk Blossom and greet her most warmly.
Hello, Admiral Jean. It's so good to see you again. Those are wonderful clothes that you're wearing. You have such fine taste.
Well, clearly inspired by yourself and your butterfly sense.
She laughs, knowing full well that she dragged you out shopping yesterday. And
exactly.
Come in, Admiral. Please sit with me.
Yes,
if that is okay, Your Highness, Your Majesty. And the Empress smiles and indicates with her fan.
So I shall saddle up reasonably close to Perfect Silk Blossom, but as it is during the day, respecting decorum and all that, and I shall ask the Empress why I've been summoned.
There are so few I can trust in this palace.
You can always trust me. I am the Emperor's loyalist servant.
I do trust you. But do you know why I trust you?
No, that I do not, because I have the best interests of the Emperor, and of course you do as well.
Because he trusts you.
Exactly.
His health is failing.
It is, but I expect him to serve for many more years.
Yes, but his ability to serve is what I am concerned about. There are those within this great empire who would rather see another on the celestial throne.
Agreed, there are others.
That is why I am sending you to the south. I have a duty for you. And the lovely silk blossom here.
If you could explain what it is you wish me to do.
I wish you to protect my daughter.
Of course.
Princess Fallen Blaze is...
Am I still in the room?
Yeah. Oh, sorry. That's me going wrong. I'm sorry. I totally forgot about that. I've heard murmurs that assassins move against the princess.
What? Assassins? I'm not afraid of any assassins.
I shall warn the princess that she should always be wary of assassins. And in court, it can be one of the most prevalent places for assassins.
Of course, you are right. I think I thought about assassins like black-clad ruffians dropping from the ceiling, and I'm not afraid of those, but poison in the tea, and I'm sipping at my tea, that is a different thing.
You can see the Empress actually look at you when you do that and look down at the cup and put the cup down to one side. Yes. Poison is the most vile means of murder and assassination. So, Admiral, your orders.
Yes, Queen?
You are to protect the princess.
Of course.
Her safety is a higher priority than the safety of your troops.
It goes without saying.
Does it?
Of course.
Mm.
Any member of the palace, or a daughter or a son of the emperor, is of course worth more than thousands of troops.
Many would believe that, yes.
It is true.
So you have your orders. When the dance is over, you will leave here tonight. Tonight. I've given orders to prepare a carriage and prepare a detachment of troops to take you to the southern ports. You all three will go.
Yes, that's fine.
If you think that is
Good.
what we should do, then we will.
Good. I'm so glad that you agree. There is another matter on which I need to speak to you. This dance, this banquet, this ball tonight is in your honor.
Yes, I believe so.
You will be expected to dance.
Oh. Yes, I will do my duty.
Yes. Be careful who you dance with. Who you show favor to can expose a lot about you.
Yes.
And
Stepmother.
can also risk your marriage. We can have no dishonor come upon you, or even rumor. So be careful how you dance. And who you dance with.
And at that point where she said, can risk your marriage, you can just see this hopeful shine in her eyes because, risk my marriage, great idea. But of course she will lower her head after the acknowledgement and say, yes, stepmother, I will be most circumspect.
Now, I must ask you to leave. I have to get ready for the ball myself. There is only 4 hours to wash and get ready and don the clothes. I'm sure you will understand.
Yes.
Of course.
And she will stand up and walk out of the chambers and leave you all three of you there.
And I will turn to the Admiral and say, Admiral, I have a matter in which I would ask your advice, if you don't mind.
Of course.
I have been given this sword, it belonged to my mother by my sister, and Mistress Secret Sun advised me that older swords might break if they have not been used for a long time. I've never heard such a thing, but I thought I would ask the advice of such an experienced warrior as yours.
Yeah, while it is not a naval cutlass, I shall more than willing to inspect the blade. And if you wish, you know, I could duel one of my marine lieutenants with it, if you wish.
I can duel myself.
But clearly, if the sword is faulty, there could be harm coming away. But if you wish to duel, I'll duel you with it after I've inspected it.
Cool. Woo!
Okay. So can you roll study, please?
Certainly. So checking the sword out. This is gonna be. I think this is well. I'm cautious. I'm thinking it could be poisoned or could have been tampered with. So I'm going to roll Earth +1.
Okay.
And I got 4 and 6 plus the 1 gives me 11.
Okay. So what options are you taking from that list?
I'm gonna see if there's any hidden details about the sword, whether it's been tampered with or poisoned, applied to the hilt or to the blade.
Okay. So as you look at the blade itself, you can see that the blade looks to have been polished recently. And as you look closely, you can see a slight crack where the blade has broke previously. As you look closer, you can actually see little flecks of steel there. Actually, within, the grain is different. And you can tell where it has broken and been reforged, the metal used there is of much lower grade. If this sword was used in a duel, it would likely break under a strong blow.
Okay, and I would like to reveal a detail about this tampering. I think it's got all the hallmarks of northern workmanship, as if this blade has been reforged or repaired way beyond the borders of the Empire, possibly by agents of the rebellious princess.
Okay, excellent. So yes, the sword was reforged in the north. So when you say the rebellious princess, do you mean the queen who?
Yes, that's the one. The queen is
Queen of Jen.
Yeah, Queen
Excellent.
of Jen.
Okay, so
I shall present it back to the princess, and I will actually point out this this damage and the repair. But I will say to the princess that it's still a weapon that commands great respect, and so therefore it should be carried for ceremonial reasons only. But I will advise her that she should basically get hold of a proper, normal sword as a backup weapon.
I do have a normal sword, actually.
Excellent. But this is worth a lot ceremonially, so
yes.
you should still carry the weapon.
Thank you for your advice, Admiral. That is invaluable.
Well, as long as you follow it, you should be in good stead.
Thank you.
Would you actually like to take a role on that for your Paladin in Troubled Times move?
I think I would. Sure. Maybe I'll take my orange ones. I'm sorry, they're under saying, but I don't care. Yes, I should have said what I'm rolling with before I rolled. But I think I'll just go with water in this case, which is a 0, and then I have a 7. That means something.
Yes, so Paladin in troubled times. Let's have a look.
I get +1 forward if I do it your way. Yeah, okay.
Okay.
Cool.
So there is one other thing I need to let you know. Anyone dueling with that sword will class as 1 scale lower.
Okay. But I think I might use it later because there are people who know that the sword is broken and who don't know that I know this. So to create some sort of a trap, right?
Excellent. So at that point, is there anything else you want to do, or?
I would like to do something as soon as I leave the quarters and I leave the princess and what's the other? And Perfect Silk Blossom.
Okay, what would you like to do, Paul?
I would like to find my aide de camp and get him to arrange a company of Marines to move up from the south northwards. So send message at high speed by rider to the southern port to dispatch some Marines northwards to meet us en route. And I would also like a small company of Marines to meet us outside the city to escort us.
Okay, so in this case, even though you're giving him an order, I'd like you to roll Hearts and Minds.
Certainly.
To see how successful that order is and to see if anyone else influences it.
Well, I think, again, I'm being cautious here. I'm thinking that something could happen, so I'm going to roll Earth.
Okay.
But I got only 5.
Okay.
So that's a fail.
Yes. So we'll bookend that at the moment. You've put your order in to have a company of Marines ready to accompany you south.
Yep.
And at this point, before we go on, we're at 9:30 already. I think this is a good time for a bio break.
What time back?
So we'll come back at 25 to.
What? Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yes. Welcome back, folk. Hello, Alan. Okay, so before we go to the ball, is there anyone who has any scenes they would like to do themselves?
Not so much scenes as a to-do list.
Okay.
So, one, a fast rider dispatched to the north to find out whether there's any truth to this barbarian's massing from my own networks. Two, someone needs to have a sharp talk with the Emperor's food taster. I need to know if he is being poisoned.
Okay.
And three, I need to begin to properly infiltrate the Gang of Eight, as I need to know if the Princess and the Admiral are on a hit list.
Okay. So, okay. So that's a list of things you got. The rider can go to the north. That's not a problem. You'll get the results of that later.
I will say that I think Falling Blaze thinks she has figured it out. She thinks that Mr. Secret Son gave her sister the sword to give to her, so to sow discontent and distrust between the two of them. That's why she warned her, so she would be sure to discover this. This was not a murderous plot. This was an intrigue. And that's what she excels in.
Wheels within wheels within wheels. I can't wait to play Good Society with you, Sabine.
Excellent. And also, I believe Ludo is using one of his moves. Come drink with me.
Yeah, I wanted if possible to solve that move before the ball.
Yeah, by all means. So if everyone's okay, we'll go into that scene now. Okay, so how do you see this going down? What's the framing on this, do you think, Ludo?
I think he would mention something about routine to Mr. Secret Son, and he would go along with his duties, going around saying that patrols around the city are well. And as he's going towards the citiest places around the city, near the docks, he disappears on one of the small side business, and he expects Mr. Secret Son to use her skills to follow him.
I'm flattered that skill set is just so well known, but I'm very happy to follow this suspicious general.
And how
with a suitably discreet bodyguard, obviously.
Okay, so we're not talking Crystal Hammer here.
No, I think I have a better plan for Crystal Hammer, actually.
Excellent. Okay, so how are you following him? Are you following him at ground level, or is this a case of jumping from the top of houses? Or
oh, this has to be from rooftop to rooftop.
Excellent.
Yeah.
That's more like it. This is
Let's start Wuxia properly.
Okay, so the docks themselves are fairly bustling, but it is getting later in the evening, so the sun's starting to go down. The flares and the lanterns are starting to be lit. There's a forest of trees around the actual dockyard itself. Sorry, forest of trees, forest of masts around the dockyard itself. And as the sun's going down, a mist is coming up in off the lake. As the night starts to creep on, the mist comes in fuller and stronger as the sun's last rays come over the horizon. And it feels very claustrophobic. So, Ludo, how does General Zen realize he's being followed?
He realized that he's being followed because he has to push the peasants away because they are the army does not have a very good reputation, especially after the rebellion, and everyone is very nervous to see them around the capital. So a lot of people, they tend to abstract as much as possible without actually giving cause for actually getting arrested or worse. So he sees everything seems to be going way too well on this patrol. There are no ox carts obstructing. There is no argument spilling into the streets. There is nobody just deciding at this moment to throw away night soil from their windows. So it's like, people are behaving way too well. It's probably because there is a secret police around.
Brilliant. And Alan, how do you announce your presence to the general?
I think I just step out of an alleyway. No, better still, a silk scarf drops out of the sky, and I simply slide down in front of him. General, how odd to bump into you like this.
Not at all. I mean, I could not be more obvious if I sent fireworks into the sky. Come. And Jeng Heng points to a small, tiny, minuscule tavern nearby.
It is so refreshing to drink with the people, don't you think?
I'm always drinking with the people. I have not forgotten who I am.
Ooh, ooh. Pointed comment. I shall put that down in my book later. What do you want, General?
Well, we were both of the meeting, and it's no secret that we have supported the Red Sundering Princess. However, there are matters that go beyond who we should prefer to see on the throne. Our loyalty is to, well, I will say in very different ways, or not so different as it was during the rebellion. We are both determined to protect the imperial line. Is that correct?
Are we not all servants of the great emperor, and therefore of the line?
Indeed. I fear for the safety of the overall continuation of the line. And I think as a good spy master, it's always useful to have, let's say, a backup plan waiting up in the Isles. Don't you agree?
I think that the Empire has never relied on a single solution to any problem it has ever faced.
Indeed, and Providence has been so helpful.
Providence always is, even when occasionally a helping hand is applied to it.
Yes, especially the time could not be more helpful if one was to be discreet. For example, we have a newly appointed governor of imperial blood departing tomorrow to the south. And we have a general stationed with his legions to the capital, moving to the north, where there will be the most support of the army overall gathering to face a northern invasion. Let's say that said governor decides to go with a certain legion to the north and rejoin the safety of the army. What do you think about that?
Were the governor under orders to go south, and were this hypothetical governor to go north, then surely that's treason.
Or let's say maybe something happened to delay the voyage. After all, she's just postponing the voyage, and if everything goes well, she can resume her travel to the Southern Isles.
when you say she, is this a hypothetical she?
Well, she, him, her, let's say a scion.
They would. It is so difficult, General, don't you find, that when you point a horse in one direction, the elements do not tend to turn it into a different direction.
Indeed.
When you're on a horse.
Indeed. So, and after all, south or north, a horse can go either way. One just has to make sure that they end up on the right horse.
Well, the trouble is that a horse goes where its rider sends it.
Well,
therefore, if a rider departs with orders to head south, the horse can only go north if the rider points it in that direction. There are other means of travel that are less reliable.
Indeed, like when going blindfolded and relying on the horse to guide them.
Not quite what I had in mind. And Secret Son will stretch backwards and waving her fan, flick it in the direction of the docks.
I see what you mean.
I've no idea what you're talking about.
Well, I would say that there are many ports if one is to go north, and army marches on its stomach, and fish this season is very good. So if a legion was to stop at a nearby northern port to resupply, maybe a horse can find its way there.
A horse blown by the vagaries of the wind, perhaps.
Indeed, and we always know that the sun, with its subtle heat, can do wonders about the wind. Can it make it a breeze or a typhoon?
Now we are in those realms of natural science, which are not either of our strengths. What I think you are saying to me, General, is that were a governor to be dispatched to one province, and were they to be traveling by boat, then were the winds to be contrary, then they might indeed be blown somewhere else.
Indeed. And the question is, can I count on you to blow the winds?
And that's when the arrow goes past your head.
Which head? And in which direction?
It goes past Alan's there. It goes between you two at eye level and flies straight through the space just in front of Alan's head, of Mistress Secret Son's head, flicking her hair as it goes past.
Continue the flick and roll to the floor.
There's a thunk as it hits the wall. And
I think they are not one of yours.
Whoever's they are, doesn't really matter, does it, General? I say from behind a table.
And as you look up, you can see, with the mist rising up from the actual streets itself, there is a figure on top of one of the buildings, a small bow in its hand, totally clad in black.
If that's Crystal Hammer, I'm going to be very annoyed.
They don't appear to be wearing armor.
So, what do you want, mistress? Left or right?
Over or under, surely. And I disappear upstairs.
The figure notches another arrow.
So, Jeng Hang tries bravado to be offer a distraction and a target. So he draws his spear and starts spinning it around, twirling the wind around, creating throwing everything about the tavern on every direction, creating as much mess as possible.
Okay, can you roll to impress them, please?
$13.
13. Okay, so you gain 2 of those options. You can create a bond, you can gain a favor, or you can clear a chi. The favor doesn't have to be with the assassin. As you're drawing their attention away from a certain head of the secret police.
Mm-hmm. So, can I create a bond with Mistress Secret Son and create a favor with the secret police?
The favor would have to come from a named character.
Okay, so yeah, it would be also with her.
Okay, so the figure sees you there. It stops. It pulls back its bow, and it fires again. The arrow screams through the air. It cuts the mist as it goes through it. It comes towards you. And as it flies towards you, you lift your spear. And the arrow spins in flight. And hits the wood beside you. Before ricocheting down the alley where Mistress Secret Son went. Sorry, did you go into an alley or did you go into a building? Did you say?
I was aiming to go upstairs in this building, and then I wondered whether my final master move would apply. Because you remember I talked about bodyguards?
Yes.
When you work out a plan with someone, roll. On a 10 plus hold 3, on a 7 to 9 hold 2. While they carry out the plan, you can spend your hold, regardless of distance, to add +1 forward to a roll.
By all means, yes.
Now, let me think. I think that this is probably Earth. Caution, focus, and presence, sorry. So that is +2. Getting to 13. So what the move says is on a 10 plus hold 3. While you carry out the plan, you can spend, while they carry out the plan, you can spend your hold regardless of distance to add +1 forward to a roll, clear a chi, produce needed items. On a miss, you hold 1, blah, 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 blah. So I suppose what was in my mind's eye was, is this in effect some kind of either attack on them? It's like having someone do a remote attack on them. On the threat. What I'm not certain about is how you resolve that. Okay.
So with the move itself, if you want to spend one of those hold, you can have people actually rise up to it. Because with the move, you can spend it to produce items. In this case, I'll say you can have a squadron of mooks appear of your secret police.
Okay, swarming up the rigging.
Okay, so.
Which I'm hoping will be sufficient distraction for us to both disappear into the night. But I'll wait and see.
So, your secret police rise up from their hidden place. You can see several of them are also black-clad and throw grapple hooks up to the actual rigging where the assassin stands. They start clambering up. The assassin draws its bow, fires one shot, fires another shot, fires another shot in quick succession. As one of your spies after another falls. These spies of yours are no match for this assailant, but they do distract them.
Oh, do they distract them enough for me to escape, or do I have to get my hands dirty?
No, you can escape if you wish.
Then I will escape at this point. Yeah, and no, I won't. Damn it all! No, I want to know who's under the mask. So no, I go after him. So having gone upstairs, I'll use the distraction to get into a nearby mast, and then we see mast, mast. with the intention of confronting this rude person.
Excellent. And what do you do in general? Ludo?
So the situation is I am seeing, apparently, if I understand correctly, whoever is shooting saw throughout my decoy attempt and is targeting Mistress, right?
They appear to be targeting the mistress, but yes, they didn't see through your decoy attempt. They were still shooting at you. They're basically trying to shoot round you.
Okay, so this kind of specialized archery, it's something unusual. So I think my step now will try to figure out something about who might be this skilled archer.
Can you roll study then, please?
And I think I'm going to use fire. Maybe it's fitting. Yeah, fire.
Okay, brilliant. And what do you get?
Five.
Okay. So you've seen this before. You've seen this during the battles in Jin. This is a Jinnish archer.
This is how here in the capital, and the general starts to lose his cool. He curses under his breath. He was so blind to the courtly intrigues, he left a Jin revel to get close.
Excellent. So, Alan, you've climbed the mast, and as the archers fire in, you manage to get to the same cross section that they're
Preferably
on.
above, I have to say, because I want to use caution, focus, and presence, which is my my combat chi. So I'm waiting for a moment when they are drawing back and downwards to come at them from above.
Excellent. So you come at them. That they fire down. They go to draw their arrow. They see a shadow move. They look up, and as you come down, what's your style? What is your weapon?
It's the saber, and the style is the secret soul, and the secret soul is all about withholding the blow until the last possible minute. So the intention is that they see a shadow coming out of the dark, and at the last moment, a flash of the blade as I pass them, with the intention of coming back.
And at this point, I think they actually drop, and they basically drop off the mast itself and catch the cross section with their foot as you go flying past.
And that should give me an opportunity to somersault backwards to their point where they were stood.
Excellent. You land above them
and stamp on their feet.
And as you land above them, there's a thunk, and as you go to stamp, the foot lets go, and an arrow protrudes from where your foot is coming down.
Just as well, I'm that quick.
Yes, well, this is Lightfoot style. So as the arrow comes down, you literally can put your foot on it and jump off.
Oh, I see. Right. Okay. Very well then. I was going to land on one leg with the other one gently raised to avoid the arrow.
If you want to do that, by all means.
It's a very simple move, actually. Now I come to think about it, and I think I need. So there'll be another. I can't remember what they're called. Spar. There'll be another spar below this one, won't there?
They will. Yes.
So the trick now then is to jump past them and flick the sword at them before I land on the spar below and go sharply left.
Okay. You come down. They raise their bow, and basically their bow deflects the blade. And you can see a short sword come out that catches the actual sail as they fall.
Oh yes, very Errol Flynn.
And you can see it. They slowed their descent, and they look at you. They look up at you as they go past, and there's something familiar in those eyes.
I bet there was. And presumably, as they go down, the sail will kind of bow. And so it would be really nice to be able to leap off this spar, land on the sail beneath them, bounce upwards, and have one more go before we roll the dice.
Excellent. Yes. So you stand, you come up, you swing at them. The blade comes up to meet, and the blades cross the body, and as they step in, and you're face to face with your assailant.
Fine.
Do you have anything to say?
You're very good at this, but not good enough. In fact,
better than I used to be.
Ooh, yes, I think I know what it is. Okay. So shall I roll? Now, are they of my scale? Because if not, we're just arguing the toss.
They are of your scale, yes.
So then, if your foe's your scale, I will roll with Earth. So that's 2d6 plus 2, which gets me to 7. On something I choose 1. Win at a cost. Mark chi, injury, escape, lose reputation. Narrate how you lost and mark XP. You gain +1 forward the next time you face them. I think I will narrate how I lost and mark XP.
Okay.
And have +1 forward the next time. So they are still going down the sail. I've bounced on the sail trampoline like and come up, and we've locked. And my suggestion is that we lock arms. And I think that probably they then let go. They open their arm. I slide off the arm, hit the sail, slide into the water.
I think you take their bow with them as well.
Be great. Be great. Because a piece of evidence is always worth its weight in gold. So I therefore, get this right, narrate how you lost, mark XP, and I have +1 forward against the sinister archer.
Exactly. So yes, they release their arm. You come away. There's that slight Hans Gruber moment where you're there and you're actually looking at the bow as you're falling down, and then there's a into the water underneath.
Yeah. Okay.
The assassin clambers back up to this top of the mast itself. It turns and looks at the general over the distance and locks eyes with him. It lifts its short sword and it throws it.
Okay, so I guess we are fighting. I was going to let them go. So.
And it lands between your feet as the figure dives away. Sorry,
Okay.
The blow didn't have the strength to last the distance.
Okay, so as this happened, the general hesitates to pursue the would-be assassin, but sees Secret Son diving into the water, and he curses and goes to rescue Secret Son.
Excellent. So I think we see a hand come into the water, and does the general grab Mr. Secret Son, or does Mr. Secret Son grab his hand?
I think I'm no fool. I grab a hand when I see it. I don't think it's the assassins, so I will take the hand.
Just like the old days, huh? Fighting genie surgeons.
Yes, just damper.
Well, I apologize. This is a personal failure. I shall be responsible for security.
Yes, neither of us come out this very well. I suggest that we don't say anything.
Indeed. I guess I should be trying to put a lockdown to see where other Jinn people might be hiding. I hope that you deal with our equine directional issues. And he bows.
And I
And
think...
that,
Sorry, Alan, go on. No, you... I think because of what's happened there, you guys don't make it to the party. So, we're at the banquet. There is a marvelous array. There is gold, there is red, there are singers, there are dancers. All the court have showed up in all the... No general, indeed, but all the court have showed up in their best clothing, most fashionable clothing, most richest clothing. And there is a huge hall prepared for it. At the head of the hall, on a dais, there is a palanquin. This palanquin has silk curtains with beads in front of them. It's almost impossible to see the figure inside. But the figure that stands in front of it, everyone can see. It is a large figure in armor with a crystal face mask. Crystal hammer stands guard over the emperor. You can see the palace guard next to this figure who towers above them. Truly a giant in this world. And you can also feel the threat that underlies their presence there. So, Sabine, obviously you've been waiting for the general.
Yes.
Several people have come up to you during the night and asked you to dance. And have you been accepting their offers, or have you been holding off?
I think I am a devoted child, so I will dance with my betrothed, also only once, and I might contrive to fall over his feet a bit. Like, I mean, I imagine he's not the most graceful dancer, and I take advantage of that.
No, he is an older man, and he seems quite frustrated by the fact that you've done this. You've made him look foolish.
It was, yeah, but maybe.
How can you be so clumsy?
I apologize. It must be nervousness. I've been acquitted such great honor.
There is no point to be nervous. This is what you were born for.
Thank you.
Have you not trained for this all your life?
I have had a very short life up to this point. I cannot match your wisdom.
Well, we will dance again later. The last dance. The last of the evening.
We'll see.
So he wanders off into the crowd, and rather than dance, you can see that he goes to sit with a number of older-looking men and women.
And I will totally refrain from sticking my tongue at his back.
And you can see several of them have scrolls and books with them that they're actually reading and discussing while the dance is going on around them. That's
pretty impolite, right?
Yes, very much so. It seems like they really don't appreciate the social situation itself.
Oh, well, that's good. Because if he's drawn into some reading stuffy things, then he might forget me. And anyway, I'm looking out for the general. I will also dance with the admiral if he asks. And I will be a much more graceful partner with him.
Yes, I shall ask for the young princess's hand for a dance.
Very good.
And what do you talk about on the dance floor?
I would like to talk to the princess about us both persuading Perfect Silk Blossom to, while we were away, to make friends with Mistress Secret Sun.
But isn't she accompanying us? Perfect Silk Blossom, that's the way I understood the queen, that she was accompanying us.
I thought it was just us two going, and clearly some other.
Yes, of course, not just us two.
Yeah.
Well,
I think she could do a lot of work here if she managed to insert herself with Mistress Secret Sun.
I do not trust Mistress Secret Sun.
Exactly, and that's why I think Perfect Silk Blossom, using her wily ways, could attempt to get some information from Mistress Secret Sun.
I think that is a very good idea. Yes, you're very wise.
Thank you, Princess. I think we will both profit from this. Yeah, and I think Perfect Silk Blossom could be a useful tool here for both of us.
Yes. Do you know where General Sanghang is? Isn't he supposed to be here tonight?
I think everybody should be here, but looking around, I cannot see him or Mistress Secret Sun.
And you can see a lot of panicked thoughts flitting across Falling Blaze's face, like, oh my god, what's she doing to him?
There is also someone else who's missing. The Reed Sundering Princess isn't here either.
Yes, I didn't expect her to be, actually. But yes, but she has a war to plan. I find that understandable.
True, but the Emperor is here. You think she would show up for her own father?
Yes, but, well, maybe...
Do you think she's... because the General's riding north as well, isn't he? Do you think she'll be with him?
Maybe they have... Maybe he got called by her to make plans, yes, in a conference.
Yes, yeah,
or something.
I think that would be a good
sign. That's a good explanation. I mean, yes, that's a good sign. I'm sorry. Yes.
But odd that maybe Secret Sun is there as well. Again, another good reason why.
Isn't she friends with Reed Sundering Princess?
Okay, just a quick question: is it quite common knowledge that Secret Sun is the lover of Reed Sundering Princess, or is that hidden?
I think Alun would have to answer that.
I think it's probably public knowledge that I am a valued advisor. I doubt it goes as far as lover.
Mm-hmm. Still, it would make enough of an explanation for your absence too. So these three are absent. Okay.
But yeah, I shall thank you for the dance. And is there anything you wish to discuss? I've sent for some of my own loyal Marines to also escort us down to the port, because I consider that we may be at some risk.
Yes, I've heard that. But yes, I hope I have a chance to. Oh well, things are what they are, aren't they?
Indeed.
Are you married, Admiral?
No, I am not.
You're lucky. You're so lucky that you don't
well,
have...
yes. Marriage has never been lucky to grace my path. But maybe one day with Perfect Silk Blossom, possibly.
That might be possible, I think.
Well, of course, if she would have me.
And as you're dancing, a shadow falls over you.
Oh no, a shadow.
A very large man.
A very large person in a suit of armor.
Mhm.
They silently point towards the dais and the palanquin and indicate for you to follow.
Very well. Well, we shouldn't keep the
No,
Emperor waiting.
no, we will follow.
So yeah, both of us will make our way towards the Emperor's palanquin.
So as you get near to the palanquin, there's a large area around it that's free of everyone. You can see off to the side there are minstrels and members of the butterfly fans playing the musical instruments in the most beauteous harmony. You can see from the balconies above, people are throwing out leaf petals and letting them fall down onto the canopy on the top of the palanquin. And the place smells of peach and rose and other floral scents. As you grow near, you hear a voice, a very weak voice inside. My friend.
Yes, Your Highness. I will lean in, and so he doesn't have to shout too loud, and ask him what I could do for him.
Who have you brought with you?
Your daughter.
Which of my daughters?
I've bought Princess Falling Blaze.
You can see he smiles slightly at that. Ah, yes. I thought I could smell her. I thought I could see her smile. Come forward.
I will. And I will bow, Father.
And he will actually reach up and pull the silk curtain back and indicate for you to put your head through it.
I will do that.
And as you put your head through this, your elderly father looks like death. There is a strong scent in the air, a foul scent, a scent you remember.
Oh no.
As you look in, your mind races back to a time many years ago when you went to see your mother as she lied on her deathbed. Your father now looks exactly in the same condition she did at that time. My daughter, his hand comes up and touches your face.
Father, not you too.
We all must have our time.
But this is... Father, this is the same as what happened to my mother. The same.
It cannot be helped. It is karma, yes?
This poison, Father, that is not karma, that is a man's hand. Forgive me. I did not mean to trouble you.
Oh, pass me a drink. I need water.
Quickly, General. Admiral. Sorry, Admiral.
Yes, I shall grab some water.
Where do you get the water from?
From a distant table, not in the immediate vicinity of the Emperor.
Okay. So you come back, and who hands him the water?
Me. I will.
No, daughter. He takes the water. He doesn't actually take the water in his hand. He basically cups his hand around the cup in your hands and lifts it to his mouth.
I will help him drink.
There are so many things I have still to tell you. So many things I have kept from you.
Do not trouble yourself, Father. You will have time, surely.
There's so little time left. There is a book in my bedchambers, hidden under my shrine. It contains my will, the real will. You must get to it.
Oh, and I turn to the Admiral and say, "Get the book, quickly."
Very well. I'll excuse myself, Emperor, Princess, and I will stride and leave the hall.
Okay.
And I will turn back towards my father and try to make him comfortable. Something.
Okay. So as you go to leave the hall, Perfect Silk Blossom stands in front of you at the entrance. Going so soon, my love?
Yes, the Emperor has asked me to grab something from the kitchen for him personally. So I will be back.
Oh, but he has servants for that.
He has, but he's asked me to do it, and I never miss an order from the Emperor.
Is it really the kitchen you're going to?
Yeah.
Can you roll in a conflict, please?
Sure. So I'm going to use... Yeah, I'm going to use... I think I'll throw fire. I'm going to come up with some creative method. So I've only got that at -1.
Okay. So roll the dice. -1. My second favorite number after... Well, my favorite number after 0. So let's see how we go there.
5.
5. Okay. So on an conflict on a 5, you have no reason to lie to her. After all, the rumors that she's betrayed you are obviously false. Do you really go to the kitchen, my love?
I go to do a service for the Emperor.
Is it important?
It is very important, yes.
What could be so important that he would send you away on this night of all nights?
He wants me to get something for him.
And no, as you will. Do you wish me to come with you?
Yeah, sure. That's fine.
And she places her hand on your arm, and the kitchens are this way.
Yes, fine. I've just got to also go by the Emperor's chamber, and I will lead her in that direction.
Okay. So, how are you getting into the Emperor's chambers? Because obviously this isn't something they let every Tom, Dick, and Harry into.
I'll just use my rank and say I'm on a personal errand of the Emperor.
Okay, can you please roll Hearts and Minds? And I believe you have the Trickster ability, don't you?
I do, so I don't actually need any leverage on them.
No. So that they believe you entirely when you say that. They don't need to get confirmation. So can you please roll Hearts and Minds on whether they let you in?
Yeah, I'll use. I'm going to be focused, so I'll use Earth, and I get 10.
Okay. They let you into the chamber. Although one of the guards does leave the door slightly open as you go through.
Okay, that's fine.
So, Mistress Secrets, I'm sorry. Perfect Silk Blossom looks round. So these are the Emperor's chambers.
Indeed, their chambers suiting of an emperor.
I never thought I'd see this day. Never thought I'd see this. Can you imagine what has gone on in these halls over these years? She runs her hand along the desk with the several documents and picks up one of the seals.
I'll warn her not to touch the emperor's things.
Oh, of course.
It is a great privilege being in here, but we should not abuse our privilege.
Of course. I know you are quite right. What is it the Emperor wished you to get?
A document.
Okay.
And I will hunt under the what was it? It was under his
shrine.
Shrine.
Okay. As you look at the shrine, you can see the table under it appears to have a false bottom.
Excellent. I shall search in the false bottom.
Okay.
See what I can find.
You slide it open, and there's nothing there.
Okay. I will explain to her that what I'm looking for has been misplaced, but it's no problem, and I shall report back to the Emperor as soon as possible.
Okay. So you start to leave the actual chambers, and at that point, I think we'll cut back to the banquet itself.
Sure.
Princess Falling Blaze.
Yes.
The Emperor's there sitting with you. He can barely speak. He's having trouble breathing. You can see his eyes are going wide. His hands start digging into yours. The elaborately lacquered nails bite in, and there's a splash of red. His body arches back.
No.
And he convulses.
Does he have doctors, healers, someone I can call?
Oh, he has many doctors, many healers. But because of the palanquin, only you know this is happening to him.
Okay, I will call to his guards to escort the Emperor to his chambers. And then I will instruct one of the servants to get a doctor, please. I will try to avoid seeming too hasty.
Okay.
I will stand up like, no, he wants to go and everything will be all right.
Okay.
I'm not that good an actor.
Can you roll Hearts and Minds, please?
Of course I can. I will use something I'm not very good at, I think. Yes, control, metal. I'm not good at that. -1 you said was your favorite, right? See, no, I have a 4.
Okay. The crowd hushes as a large detachment of men come in and attach arms to the actual palanquin, the palanquin bed that the Emperor's in. The music stops as the palanquin is lifted onto shoulders and taken back out of the building and towards the Emperor's chambers.
Since I think that since I did not realize that I made such a bad show of it, I will stay where I am, but I'm terribly worried, of course.
There, you hear a whispered word. Did you say poisoned?
Who is that?
You turn around. You don't catch who it is. You can see that the entire room are looking at you.
I will take up my posture, and then I will thank everybody for coming and take this marvelous opportunity to launch into a rather convoluted speech about the Southern Isles and the pirates that I intend to fight there.
Okay, so can you roll impress, please?
Yes, impress, cool.
Lowell will be over the moon, twice in one
Yes.
session.
Yeah, and I will. Now I think I will have to choose water for that. Because I can't use metal, because that's exhausted. Everything's exhausted. I could use fire. Oh, that's very risky, though. I will. Come on, my father's dying. I'm going to use fire for that speech. Yeah, I've got 7, 9.
Okay, so on a 9 on impress. 1 second. The GM will give you offer you a hard bargain.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So when people said poison, they saw that the admiral was just after the actual admiral had given the emperor water to give to the emperor. Who are they talking about? Do they say that you have poisoned the emperor?
Sure.
Or the admiral?
No, they have said I've poisoned the emperor, of course.
Okay.
Because I gave him the water. Maybe they think the admiral's in it with me.
You can see that several of the people are drawn away from you.
Okay.
There seems to be a fuss up on the dais again.
Mm-hmm.
You can see that several of the doctors have run up and are talking hurriedly to the Empress.
Mm-hmm.
You can see her eyes go wide, and she stands up. Everyone! This banquet is over. Everyone, go home. And she turns and walks off stage in a hurry.
I will follow her.
There is pandemonium.
Okay, I don't care. I follow her. Okay. I hope I will run into the admiral on my way back.
Okay. As you come round the corner, you see her talking to Crystal Hammer, and she looks at you. There she is. Get her.
I turn around and I think I will run.
And as you run, the armored figure moves after you.
Yes, I think I don't want to. I mean, I heard the murmurs, and I think she's overwhelmed by grief, obviously. But I think it's not the wisest idea to stay here and trade. Yeah, well, you can't talk to a grief-stricken person. And anyway, I have to find out who poisoned my father.
Okay.
And might still have.
So as you make it through, you move out into the gardens. So this figure runs after you. It's a very large figure with large legs. It doesn't take much for them to catch up with you.
But I'm smaller.
You're smaller, but they have a larger stride.
But they have an armor, and I do not. Yeah. And I can, for example, I can climb this little magnolia tree and jump onto the roof, which is harder with armor, I guess.
It would be if this wasn't Wuxia. It would be if this wasn't Wuxia.
Oh, wow.
But I think as they come up the roof, up onto the roof after you, one of their foot does go through the actual tiles on the top.
Mm-hmm.
As they land badly, and you can see that they are drawing their crystal hammer that they gained their name from.
Oh no!
Which is a meteor hammer, even.
Yes, I got that. Okay, great. So I have to get back to my room and get my sword because I'm wearing a ceremonial sword, but that's the flawed one, and I can't fight with that. And I probably can fight him anyway, but I have to get back to my room. And since I'm a very active little princess, I know my way around the rooftops here.
Excellent. So
I would like to use my move have or will travel.
excellent. I was actually waiting for that.
Yeah, I thought I'd let it run for a bit.
Okay, so tell me what the move does.
Once per session, you may announce your presence in the perfect place to help somebody, ignoring the usual limits of time, distance, and plausibility.
Excellent. So I think there's a brief scuffle between the princess and Crystal Hammer on the roof. And tell me, how do you intervene? What happens?
Basically, they're fighting on a slightly angled tiled roof that he's placed his foot through. Leaping onto the side of the building, I suddenly appear with my wooden oar in hand and blindside Crystal Hammer.
Okay. You smack Crystal Hammer, and there's a smack and a crack as some of the armor creaks and cracks under the blow. Their hammer goes down slightly to brace themselves. As they stop, they stand up to their full height, and they turn to look at you.
I will shout to the princess to basically flee, and I will catch up with her later.
I think we will be at that point somewhere above her chambers. So at the first, you will think that she obeys what your suggestion, but what she actually does is she goes in, grabs her sword, and then she will come back and help you. Because
Excellent.
That's the kind of person she is.
Superb.
Okay. So, describe the fight. How are you fighting?
Basically, it's quite uneven on this tiled roof, so I will use my flexibility using my oar as a grounding point and keep dancing around Crystal Hammer, and I will continually keep knocking off tiles so there's less and less decent footing. So yeah, I'm going to be very fluid, like water, dancing around Crystal Hammer.
And I think that as the tiles get broken and they get thrown down and they go down, basically it's just the ribs of the ceiling actually you end up on.
Yep, that sounds good.
Crystal Hammer's blows come down and they're smashing entire swaths of the tiles off into the yard below as they try and strike you. And literally, as they strike, there's a torrent of them go flying out until it's actually only the wooden spars at the top. Where
superb.
So what happens next?
I'm going to attempt to try and... well, is he attempting to pursue the princess or not?
They.
They?
Yes, you can't actually tell if it's a man or a woman.
Okay. Yeah, so are they attempting to pursue the princess?
No, they're fighting the person directly in front of them that has the weapon.
Okay. Well, I'm going to try and knock them to their feet and disarm them, basically, so I can get a look at who it is.
Okay. So you come down, you strike a blow at their feet. They hop back and forth quite agilely, given the armor. Dodging your blow, dodging your blow. Where beforehand they were fully on offense. Now they're on defense. Back and forth. And eventually they get to the edge of the roof and nowhere else to go.
Do I have my sword yet?
You do. But
Very nice.
before you get to interact, I'd like to ask Paul, can you make a duel roll, please?
Certainly. So, looking... is it duel? Well, there's PC versus PC duel. Is that the one you want me to roll?
No, there's also, if you look
Oh, yeah,
under...
duel. Yeah,
Yeah.
see it. So, yeah, I was being quite fluid. So that's my water style.
No, you have to use your style element.
Yeah, that is my...
Okay.
That is the
Yep,
water style.
that's fine.
Okay, so let's have a look at a roll.
Your foe is above your scale.
Well, I cannot beat them then.
Okay, if your foe is above the scale, you lose the conflict. On a hit, you may declare how you lose.
Okay, so let's see if I get a hit. No, I do not get a hit.
Okay, so you come in for the blow, and the hilt of the hammer drops down. And there's a vicious punch that comes out that knocks the wind from your body. The hand comes forward, grabs the fronts of your robes, and this tall figure lifts up and dangles you over the actual expanse below. It hefts the hammer in one hand. It looks at you. It pulls back the hammer, and that's when Princess Falling Blades arrives.
That's an auspicious moment because, okay, so he is an accomplished fighter. He can survive a fall, I guess, but he can't survive a blow with this stupid hammer. So I think what I want to do is I want to push them both off the roof. Come up behind Crystal Hammer and just fly and kick him in the back so that they both fly off the roof, and then I will try to stay with him and quickly cut him a few vicious cuts with my sword while we're falling, of course.
When you say him, do you mean
them,
the Crystal
yes,
Hammer?
No, yeah, not the Admiral.
Yes,
not the Admiral.
I'm very clear that no one knows what who or what Crystal Hammer is. So
yes. Ooh. No, Pierce the Mask is the wrong game right now.
Although you could make a study.
Right now I have to make save the Admiral.
Okay, so you strike and they both fall.
We all fall. I mean, I'm falling with them.
Okay, Paul, what's below this?
I think a courtyard. So it'll be yeah, we're talking block paving, that sort of thing.
Okay. So have any of you seen these large elaborate chessboards? So you actually have a chessboard built into the ground itself.
Yeah.
So I think you actually fall amongst the life-size chess set.
Yep.
And as you fall into it, you all fall in separate parts. Sabine, you strike several blows to Crystal Hammer, and the armor cracks in several places. It bounces off in others, and in one instance, your blade draws blood. So you fall down, and you've seen the Terracotta Warriors, haven't you? In fact, you've seen Harry Potter with the giant, oversized chess pieces. You're stood in the midst of something similar. When you land, you can't see anyone else. It's the same with you, Paul. You can't see the other two. What are you all doing?
Oh, I'm small and light, so I will just jump up on top of one of these figures and stand on their head.
Okay.
And look around.
What piece is it?
I think it's an emperor.
Okay.
Actually.
So you jump to the top, and you can see the tip of Crystal Hammer's helmet, just over the other side behind the black pieces. But this board has actually been in use and been left in use, so they're not lined up 1-on-1. They're all over the place, as if a game had been in progress. You can see the helmet, and it isn't moving.
I'll race toward it because that's not very useful reaction, but I'm worried about my admiral, and so I'll race on top of these figures.
And as you do, a blow strikes your foot comes down on a pawn, and a mighty blow strikes it and shatters the stone. The piece goes everywhere, and you stumble from the top, landing perfectly amongst its wreckage. You turn and you see Crystal Hammer. Its helmet is off. Its long black hair flowing in the breeze.
Have I ever seen them before?
Can you roll study, please?
Sure. I'm rolling study. I'm rolling study with water. No, I've never seen anything like that before. Hair, what is that?
Your mother used to cut her hair in the same way.
Oh.
Sorry, did you get a fail or?
Oh yes, totally.
Yes. Your mother used to cut her hair in the same way.
Okay.
In fact, the scent of the armor that you smell, the perfume, reminds you of your mother as well.
That's not possible. That's what I'm saying. I'm staring up at her and saying, that's not possible.
She raises her hammer. It arcs back. It goes to fall. And Paul, how do you save the princess?
I shove my long oar across. So basically, I'll brace one end and I'll rest the other end of the oar on a chess piece, so the hammer can't get the momentum to come down and crush the princess.
The blow is caught. It stops. The momentum of it causes Crystal Hammer to sink back. The hammer goes down. It looks at you. And this close, you can see its eyes. Those are not normal eyes. Those are dead eyes. Dead eyes. It starts to get to its feet. It hests a hammer. And at this point, you can see the palace guard start to stream into the courtyard.
I think we should get out of here as quickly as possible. Is there a river in near here?
There's a river that runs just outside the palace.
Cool, let's get to the river.
To the river.
You run, and a flurry of arrows follows you through the air. They streak towards you in a vast cloud like a swarm of angry bees. How do you avoid them?
We're still in the garden, right?
That's right, yes.
So I think we will not run the straight path, but we will run through some thickets or jump over and through some thickets, and most of the arrows will get caught in the branches and leaves there and miss us.
Okay. And so these arrows go into the thickets, into the branches, and they send a flurry of petals up into the air after you. As you run past, you run through them, and the zephyrs of wind, the gusts of winds, swirl them around you and after you as you run. You run to the walls, and as you stop on top of the walls, you look down into the courtyard. You see ranks upon ranks of the guard. They draw their arrows, they draw their bows, they raise them. There is and they go silent as a cloud of blackness lifts into the air towards you. And Alan, Sabine, Admiral Lee Ho Queen, and Princess Fallen Blaze. How do you escape?
Jump into the water.
Yes. So much jump into the water.
And as you go into the water, the arrows fall in, and we get that scene where you dive in and the arrows are coming through after you. And I think at that point, it fades out and "to be continued" comes up on screen. And that's the end of the session.
That was awesome.
Thank God I can't take any more of that.
So
I have to say, it's a huge relief that Wales don't win the Triple Crown every week. I could just
So, XP. If people have a look at their entanglements, they've marked a highlighted entanglement. I would like to ask you, I'm going to go through you one by one. Do you think that major entanglement has actually been complicated and come into play tonight? So, Alan.
I don't know. Because I don't know whether Red Orchid was the assassin or whether Iron-Faced Bison was the assassin. I don't think I can take credit for that one.
I think you can, actually.
Oh, fine. I'll take that as a clue as well, then. Okay,
so,
I'll take one. I'm not going to turn you down.
So I think you should take 3 for that.
3?
Well, yeah, if it's a highlighted one, you get 3 for it.
Oh, right. That takes me to 5 with 1 overflow.
Yes, so you get to have an advance next time.
Okay.
So, General Zheng Heng.
I also don't know, because I'm not sure how much of the complications were because Reed's Sundering Princess did not trust him or not.
I think you've been ordered to the north very much because she wants to keep you away from Princess Fallen Blaze.
Well,
So
I guess then that was pretty much everything I did this session was because of that. So I think that's a yes.
Yeah,
Excellent.
meeting with me was about that.
Yep. So I would say yes, that you get 3 for that as well. So General Lee Ho Quinn. So I think definitely your highlighted one has come into effect this time. Certainly with you trying to actually save the princess and trying to get hold of the actual proper will. So I would say you'd gain 3 for that tonight as well. Paul? Okay.
Yeah, sorry, I was muted. Yeah, I've changed that to 0, and yeah, definitely I protected the princess. So yeah, I can see that.
No, you're muted, Gurren.
Sorry. What comes around and all that. Do you think your entanglements have come into play tonight?
I think so, yes, because my betrothal with the whole Baudelan thing started out the whole governorship stuff, and my heart still yearns for the general.
Excellent. So I'd say that you
even
gain...
if he stood you up at the dance.
What? What did I give up?
Even if he stood you up at the dance.
He Yeah, well, we don't know that. We didn't finish the dance in a proper manner. I think he was waiting to sweep me off my feet. Right now I have other problems. But
Okay, so yes, you gained 3 XP for that. Also, everyone gained 1 XP for playing tonight as well. So that's a total of 4 XP for everyone, plus any other XP that you got during the night. Has anyone got an advance? So everyone has got an advance.
Yes.
Excellent. Now, if you look under, I think it's under character creation. No, it isn't. I will get the details on advances for you. I thought it was under...
It's under other moves, I think. Yeah, under other moves.
Okay, so yes, if you look at the right-hand side, when you gain 5 XP, you may take an advance. 1 second, I'm clicking to the wrong thing. We'll actually do those at the start of the next session. Okay.
Yes. Cool.
Okay, also, one other thing I've noticed as well, I didn't... no, that's the one-shot variant. Okay, so yes, when you gain 5 XP, you take an advance. So yeah, look through the things in there. If you want to come up with custom moves, please email me between sessions. And at this point, I think we're going to end the session if everyone's okay.